What to do when everything is going wrong.
Everybody gives you advice, yeah, on how to live your life, how to live your life. Don't you know that life is full of surprises? You better realize, nobody knows what's in your soul and how your heart works. Nobody cares. It's time for you to live your life, yeah.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Coach Brown checking in for episode number 5 of the Coach Brown Show. We had some technical difficulties the first time around. I guess there was no audio, so I had to go ahead and restart the stream, but I think we got it all figured out. So, again, welcome to episode number 5 of the Coach Brown Show. The name of tonight's show is What to Do When Everything is Going Wrong, right? How do we avoid catastrophe and stay on the path of victory? So, for you guys that are new to the channel, my name is Coach Brown. This is the Coach Brown Show. This channel is all about resetting the mind so we can rebuild the life. And we're all about transformation, right? So if you stick around, you will get something from tonight's show. And when you do get something from tonight's show, only thing I ask is that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the bell notification. That's going to help to grow the channel, grow the community, and then also grow the conversation, right? The more people that tune in, the bigger the conversation gets, the bigger the transformations are, and the more impact that we can have overall. So everyone who's back again, I definitely appreciate you guys and love you guys. And we're going to dive into tonight's topic. My mom in the house, thank you so much. She's the one who pointed out. She said, I can't hear you. There's no audio. I said, what? Because I was already in it. I was already talking. But thank you for jumping in because I would have did a whole episode with no sound. So I definitely appreciate that for sure. So again, the name of tonight's episode is this, right? What to do when things are going wrong. And the reason why I chose to speak about this is because the message kept coming to me like over and over and over. We were supposed to have a guest tonight, but a few things happened on their end where they couldn't make it. So I had something else lined up to talk to you about tonight. However, this subject just kept popping in my head. Like it just kept coming up, right? Talk about what to do when things are going wrong. Talk about what to do when things are going wrong. And, I had to listen because I know there's a lot of people and probably most people right now, if you ask them, how are things going? The response that you would get will point out that things aren't going in the right direction for most people, right? And unfortunately in life, a lot of us are up against things where we could say or declare that things are going wrong, right? Or opposite of what we would expect them to go. And it's important that we touch on what to do when you find yourself in that situation, because a lot of people, when in a situation where things aren't going right, where things are going wrong, a lot of times people have a tendency to go wrong with those things. So you may find yourself in a situation where you're looking at it and you say, you know what, this is going wrong, that's going wrong, everything seems wrong. And then rather than buckle down or stand strong in your position to have things go right, rather than focus on what do I want to see happen here, right? What am I committed to? How do I want to see this thing play out? What's it going to take for me to overcome this thing? We succumb to it. And we find ourselves, when in a situation where things are going wrong, we have a tendency to stop making wrong decisions. And when we're in a wrong circumstance and we couple that with making wrong decisions, it leads us to catastrophic results, right? It puts us in a traumatic situation, because not only are you dealing with the disappointment and frustration of things not going the way that you needed them or wanted them to go, now you also have to deal with the repercussions of your bad decisions, right? So if you're in a situation that's not particularly going right, the worst thing you can do is start to make bad decisions alongside of this thing that's not going correct. So a lot of times we will find ourselves in a situation where things aren't going right and we're stressed out and we're frustrated and we're all these different things, right? And we'll accompany that with bad decisions. People be like, oh, I'm so stressed out, I need a drink. And it's like, accompanying being stressed out in bad situations with alcohol is not going to put you in a better situation. It's going to put you in a worse situation, right? Accompanying and being in a situation, making bad decisions like, oh, you know what? Everything's going wrong. I don't even care anymore. I'm gonna go do this, and that. Is not going to put you in a better situation. I feel down about how this is going. I'm gonna go, get this type of food, and I'm gonna go off the deep end. It's not gonna put you in a better situation, right? When you find yourself in a situation in life where everything is going wrong, it's time for you to make a decision to go right, to stay right, actually, right? You should be in a position to stay right. You should be in a position to say, hey, listen, I see what's going on all around me, but I'm not going to succumb to it. I'm going to overcome it. And I'm going to overcome it by standing 10 toes down in what I know is right. I'm going to overcome it by standing 10 toes down and staying committed to what I want to see happen in the situation. What's the most important? We can't throw our priorities out because of the inconvenience of a situation going left. We got to stay grounded in who we are. We got to stay grounded in what we stand for, right? We got to stay grounded in our principles. Because when something goes wrong and you go wrong with it, sometimes there's no coming back, or sometimes there's a spiral that outlasts the situation by plenty of time, right? You can have a bad situation and the situation goes wrong and you go wrong with the situation. The effects of that could last a year, 2 years, 3 years. Some people never come back from it. Some people to this day, their life and how they're living their life is because of a situation that went wrong many, 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 many years ago. But they decided to go wrong with it and they never came back from it. They lived their entire life from that point of view. They lived their entire life from that incident. They never overcame it. They succumbed to it. They succumbed to the actual event, and they never recover. And when that thing went wrong and they went with it, it left them in this place. And life and time moves forward, but they don't move forward with it. They stay stuck. And we can't afford to be stuck. We can't afford to go left when things go left, right? We can't afford to allow situations to pull us one way or pull us another way. We got to stay grounded in who we are. We got to stay grounded in what's important, and we got to stay grounded in the mission, right? What are we up to? Where are we going? What's this all about? What are we committed to? What do we want to see happen here? Why are we even doing this? Because when things go wrong and things go left, you need to tap into that to be able to stand your ground. Because if not, it'll pull you with it. It'll pull you with it. And by the time you realize that you went left with it, life has already passed, right? And we can't afford that. My mom said, so true. It's so true, right? People got to realize that when things go bad, it's not a an opportunity for you to go bad with it, right? It's an opportunity for you to actually stand up in your goodness, right? It's an opportunity for you to actually stand up in your righteousness, in your greatness, and actually show in those times, right? Show when you're being tested what you actually stand for. Because it's easy. It's easy when, everything's going right. It's easy when everything's going right to be a particular person, right? But when things go wrong, who are you really, right? What do you really stand in? What do you really stand for? And again, it's important that when we see that things are going in a way that's not in our favor, when we see that things are going wrong, it's really an opportunity for us to stand up in who we actually are, right? It's actually an opportunity for us to take a stand for what we stand for. And guess what? In life, things are going to go wrong, right? In life, things are going to go left. It's part of the journey. It's part of the experience. But it's never the event. And I said this before. I said this on the past streams. It's never the event. It's how we respond to the event that matters. That's what shapes our life, our response to things, not the actual things. It's how we respond to those things that shape our life. So we got to check ourselves and say, how are we responding? Right? When things aren't going how we want them to go, how do we respond? Do we fold? Right? Do we go with it? Do we throw all our principles? Do we throw all everything we stand for out the window and just go left with it? Or do we stand 10 toes down and show what we stand for? Show what principles we abide by. Show exactly what we're made of. Show our resilience. Let's see, Wob in the building. Let's go, baby. What's up, Wob? He said, how do you deal with depression generally? Everyone's trauma is different. So, yeah, let's talk about that, right? How do we deal with depression? And I'll speak from experience, right? Because I've dealt with depression, right? And it's something I had to overcome. And I will tell you that most depression that people face, and this isn't like a diagnosis. I'm not a doctor in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I'm only speaking from my line of work, and I'm speaking from my experience and from the conversations I have with people. Most people are depressed because they're suppressing themselves. You know what I mean? They're suppressing something that's alive in them and something that they haven't explored. There's an aspect of them that's not fully expressed. So they find themselves depressed, right? It's kind of in the word, like, you know what I mean? Like they're depressed. So it's like they might be this big person, but they're depressed into this smaller version of existence. And, you said, how do people deal with their depression? You got to find out where you're actually suppressed at, right? What's being depressed inside of you? Where you not expressed that, right? What areas of yourself have you not explored? Or what areas of your life are you not actually alive inside of? Because dead fruit in a basket causes more dead fruit. So if you have areas of your life that you're not fully expressed inside of, that's going to affect even the areas that you find yourself expressed in. So to be depressed, and a lot of people are in a state of depression because they're not fully expressed. They're not living life. There's something inside of them that's so larger than the version of them that shows up every day in life. And most people cannot access that, number one, because they don't understand that there's something else living inside of them. Then number two, the people who know there's something else living inside of them, they know that they're supposed to contribute more to this world. They know that they were sent here for so much more. They struggle to find the courage to stand up and be them. They struggle to believe that it could be them. They have the visions. They see what life has in store for them, but they don't have it in them to accept it. They view it as though this can't be for me. There's no way I can have these things. There's no way that all of these grand visions I can fulfill on, because they don't see it. And sometimes it's people around them that see it and give it to them. Let them know, no, I see that for you. No, you definitely have it in them. But what that does is when the people around you are building you up in such of a way that matches the visions that you're having, but you still can't see it, it creates more of a disconnect for you. Because now you feel like, how can they see it? How am I being shown it, but I can't see it myself? And if you don't have the tools and the understanding to work through that, it can create a larger divide. So when we talk about depression, it's a matter of people having the courage to be real with themselves, people having the courage to actually stand up inside of this life and be who they were sent here to be, not just being a worker bee, not just waking up and living on that hamster wheel of the same thing every single day, in and out, 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 right? And not taking on their life and not living their life. So that's how we deal with that. When you say how do you deal with the depression in general, it's a matter of people being or having the number one, the willingness, and then number two, the strength and courage to stand up and be everything they were sent here to be. Because when people aren't living in their truth, they're not living at all. And that's where a lot of that depression comes into play. So I don't know if that answered it for you, but that's just what came to share from the question that you asked, man. But I appreciate you tuning in. And honestly, like that really ties into tonight's message, because like I said, what to do when everything's going wrong. When you're not in alignment with your purpose in life, when you're not doing what you were sent here to do, how could anything go right? Right? How can anything go right when you're not in alignment with your purpose? Like, you were sent here to do specific things. And when you're not in alignment with those specific things, you're going to find that a lot of things are not going to go right. And when they're not going right, it's literally life redirecting you. Like, no, not over here. Go that way. You're like, why won't this thing work out? Because you're not supposed to be right here. You're supposed to be over there. And life is trying to give you that, knocking you on the head, like, no, go that way. You're like, no, I just, why won't this work? Why won't this work? Because you're supposed to go that way. The thing that you're pursuing and everything you're looking for is right over there. But you're not willing to accept that. So you just keep bumping it, like he's bopping you on the head constantly. You're like, why me? Why do these things keep happening to me? Because you're not willing to stand up in your truth. You're not willing to get in alignment with what you're here to do. Let's see. Bob said, you have to have the courage to stand up and be your true, genuine self. Exactly. You have to. And guess what? You know what else? You got to have the courage to go into yourself. You got to have the courage to go into yourself and find out exactly who you are. One of the scariest things for a lot of people is being alone with their self. A lot of people can't stand to be alone with their self. A lot of people can't stand to actually go into their self. Like, if they're driving in a car by themselves and it gets quiet and they start to actually feel their self, they get uncomfortable. They got to put the radio on. If they're sitting on the couch and it's quiet and they start to feel like they're connecting with themselves, it's uncomfortable. They got to turn the TV on. They got to go do something, because it's like, whoa, like I can't do that, right? People aren't willing to connect with themselves because it's scary for a lot of people. Because guess what? Once you do connect with yourself, and once you know who you are, and once you know why you're here, and once you know what you showed up to do, there's no going back. Like, you can't digress. You can't go, like people say, ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss, because when you're ignorant, you don't have to be accountable. But the minute that you know, you have to be accountable. The minute that you know why you're here, you cannot digress from that. You have to do the work. You have to fulfill on it. You have to be in alignment, because nothing else will work at that point. When you don't know, you have the blissfulness of ignorance. You can do as you please, right? You can say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. But once you bump heads with the truth and you wake up to, oh my God, this is what I'm supposed to do, you don't go back. You cannot go back. It's not possible. Nor should you want to. My mom said, how do you know what your purpose is? I yet to figure it out. The way that you know what your purpose is in life is that you have to go into yourself. You got to connect with yourself. And also to figure out what your life's purpose is, you have to go into isolation. You have to remove yourself from the world. You got to remove yourself from people. And you also have to figure out what your life's purpose is, you got to peel the layers back. You got to peel the onion, right? Because unfortunately in life we put a lot of layers on. And we put a lot of masks on ourselves because people don't want to deal with who they are and people don't want to deal with themselves. So we layer ourselves with things from the outside world, right? Like, oh, like I can't do this because of this person did this, and then this person did that, and then this happened to me at this age, and then I can't do it because these people are doing this and these people are saying that, and we put all these layers on top of us to cover us, so that number one, in hopes that the world never sees us, and then also in hopes that we never see ourselves. But if we're not willing to go inward and deal with ourselves and see ourselves and explore what makes us us, and then also cut all of our BS. We gotta cut all of our BS, all of the stories, all of the excuses we create for ourselves and our circumstances. We got to remove all of that and take 100% responsibility for our life and our outcome in life. And then once we get there, then we can say, you know what? Now it's time that I create life as I see fit. But when you create life as you see fit, it's based on who you know yourself to be outside of everyone else and everything else. You got to strip all of that away. You got to take everyone out the equation. You got to take everything out of the equation and just deal with you specifically. And when you could deal with yourself specifically, and you could deal with the things that ignite you, the things that you're passionate about, the things that you care about, the things that you would do if no one pays you to do it, that you would just do naturally, the things that you love to do, the things that bring you fulfillment in life, then you will understand what your purpose is. When you can see next stage after you go there, the next stage is say, how do I show up in the world? How do people see me? Where do I make the biggest impact? This is going to help to guide you towards your purpose in life. But life is never going to feel to us the way it should until we're living inside of our purpose. Everything that's created has purpose, but everything that's created is not optimum outside of its purpose. A chair is great, but a chair is only great when people are sitting in it. If no one ever sits in the chair, then what is the chair? What is the worth of the chair? Right? What is the reason for the chair? Who praises the chair if no one ever sits in it? But when people sit in it, they say, oh, this is amazing. Right? You can sit down. Look at these people sitting down. It gives it its relevance. So lining yourself with your purpose gives you your relevance. It allows you to stand up in all of your greatness and have the impact that you were designed to have inside of this lifetime. But to get to your purpose, you got to stay right. You got to stay grounded in what's right. And you got to go into yourself and figure out why you're here. And underneath all of the layers inside of you somewhere, you know what it is. But we try to avoid it because the minute that you connect with the fact that you know what it is and you know that why you're here, the minute that you connect with that truly, then you can never go back to enjoying the blissfulness of not knowing. As long as you say, I don't know what my purpose is, you're never accountable to live up to it. You're never accountable to live inside of it. But the minute that you accept and acknowledge that you know what your purpose is, you don't have the luxury of saying that you don't know. Now you know and everyone else knows, and people are going to hold you accountable to living inside and up to your purpose, being in alignment with what you were sent here to do. Hold on, there's a lot of comments. Let's go back. She said, well, that won't happen. They all would be lost, seriously. But again, that's a layer. That's a mask that we put on. That's a story that we create that enables us to elude from our greatness. It enables us to elude from living in our purpose. To go into isolation is not about anybody else. It's about you. It's about you unplugging. This is what I need to do for me. I need to find why am I here on this earth. And to do that, I am going away. This is for me. And in the end, it's also for you. Because if I'm not living in my purpose and on my purpose, and if I'm not showing up as the greatest version of me, I'm not only doing a disservice to myself, I'm also doing a disservice to everyone that I care about. Because guess what? They're not getting 100% of me. They're getting 30% of me. They're getting 40% of me. They're getting a version of me that's not in a happy place. They're getting a version of me that's stressed out. They're getting a version of me that may be tired and all these different things. But they're not getting 100% me. They're not getting the best version of myself. So not only do you cheat yourself, you cheat the people that you care about. The same people that you say that you would do it for. And this is general. This isn't life. People say, oh, I'm doing this for this person and that person and this person. But the same people that you say that you're doing it for, if you're not doing it correctly, if you're not in alignment, if you're not living on purpose, then you're not showing up fulfilled. Therefore, you're not giving them the best version of yourself. And in the end, they suffer for that. And your life experiences and the memories they have of you in life, all of it suffers because you're not in alignment with your purpose. So I would love to do that every day. I say I should pack my house up and leave. Is that wrong to think that way? It's not wrong to think that way, but the thing that you have to acknowledge is that, and this is something that somebody told me a long time ago, no matter where you go, there you are. So you cannot run from yourself. It doesn't matter if you're here. It doesn't matter if you're there. It doesn't matter if you're over here or over there. No matter where you take your physical self, when you get there, you're still there. And the problem is not anyone else or anything else. We are always our own problem. And when we can understand that and deal with that and do the work on ourselves, then we can fix it. But running from one place to another place fixes nothing, because no matter where you go in the world, there you are. And you're always going to be fighting yourself. And if we don't take the time to realize that we're not fighting other people and we're not fighting other things, every fight that we're up against in our life is us fighting ourselves. So we got to go in and we got to do the work on ourselves. Because until you fix yourself, your problems will follow you anywhere you go on this green earth. So we got to fix ourselves. That's where the real work has to be done. Let's see, I think that's the same one. Excuse me. A lot of talking. But yeah, no, I appreciate all the conversation. And chiming in, because that's what really grows this. This is what makes it good conversation, because guess what one of us is up against, all of us are up against. And we like to think that our situations are specific to us and genuine to us, but we're all human, having a human experience, and a lot of us are battling a lot of the same things. So when we jump on the stream and we put what we're up against into the stream and we're able to talk about it, you don't know how many people you can help. You can help 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. We don't know. But when we put what we're up against into the stream, we open that up to the world, and we're able to touch a lot of people. So I appreciate, you jumping in and sharing, because you don't know how many people you're going to touch with that. So again, tonight, I wanted to talk about what do we do when things go wrong. And really the bottom line of that is this: when things go wrong, stay right. Right? When things aren't going the way that they should, don't follow them. Don't follow them. Stay grounded in your truth, and stay grounded in what's righteous, and stay grounded in what you're committed to, right? What you want to see happen here. Prioritize what's most important. Because guess what? In life, a lot of times we give priority to being right. Right? We'll fight to be right. But it's like, at the end of the day, being right is not the trophy. There's a lot of people who are right in terrible situations. So if we can let go of our need to be right, if we can let go of the ego when it comes to things going wrong, and decide to, overcome these things by staying grounded in what we know is right, staying grounded in what's righteous, staying grounded in what we want to see happen overall, not in the particular situation, but overall, what is most important, right? What is the long game? That's what we gotta look at. If we can stay grounded in that, then we're able to maneuver through a lot of life's events. And there's gonna be times in life where things go wrong and you're gonna find yourself going with them. But when you find yourself going with them, you gotta recognize it and then you gotta get back to the right side of things. You gotta run back to the right side of things and get grounded, 10 toes down, and stick to your principles and stick to what you know and your heart is right. Right. Um, so that's just what I wanted to talk about tonight. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate all the conversation. I think that tonight is going to touch a lot of people, and I think that tonight's going to help a lot of people. And if you got something from tonight's episode, all that I ask is that you hit that share button. Let's get this message out to as many people as we can because people do need it. If you're new to the channel and you got something, please hit that like and subscribe button. It definitely goes a long way. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Let's continue to show up every week and just keep having these conversations, right? Reset the mind so we can rebuild the life. MyCoachBrown.com. Everybody have a powerful night, and I will see you guys next Monday for episode number 6. Peace.